Hi guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and it is time for an autumnal book haul. I really wish that I could be dressed autumnal. I even tried, I tried with the cardigan, but it is just too warm in the UK right now. The minute I bought these autumnal books and was ready to live my best autumn life, the UK decided it was going to have a heat wave. I just can't sit in front of a massive ring light in a cardigan today, so unfortunately I have to wear a dress. I have a collection of 10 books to share with you today. I'm very excited about them. I think pretty much all of them are going to be on my October TBR, so this might end up being a very repetitive book haul, but I bought most of these books with October in mind. If you guys like the sound of this video and you like what you have seen so far, why not hit that big red subscribe button down below and check out some of my other content. I'm also a big fan of TBRs, wrap-ups and challenges, so if you guys like those things then you might want to subscribe and see more. You guys can also check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page and Chapter. I'm incredibly active on my Instagram particularly, so you guys might want to check me out there if you want some behind the scenes stuff and to be a little bit more in control of what you see on this channel. And so without further ado, let's get into the 10 new books that I cannot wait to read. So the first 3 books are actually a trilogy. Honestly, I kind of just bought these because all 3 books, like the whole collection, was at £10 on bookstodor.com, and 3 books for £10 is an offer I could not refuse. So I bought this series, and that is the Crazy Rich Asians series. Now I have seen the movie. I'm not normally a movie before book kind of person, but it had been long enough that I could kind of deemed that I wasn't going to read the book. So I watched the movie, and then I loved the movie, so now I'm reading the book. I'm about halfway through Crazy Rich Asians, the first one. I am enjoying seeing the very subtle differences between the movie and the book. I will say I think this book is a little bit overwritten. It's a lot of stuff that probably doesn't need to be included that is, however, very enjoyable. And so I have the rest of the series as well, which is China Rich Girlfriend and Rich People Problems. No idea what happens in the next 2 because they don't have movies for those yet. And I'm very excited to get into some content that I haven't already seen. However, Rich People Problems has a sticker on it. Now I don't want to complain too much because it is a sticker that is peel-offable, but it is very firmly stuck on there. So if any of you have any tips for how to get stickers off without driving myself insane, because I've tried, it's literally just going to rip off in tiny little pieces. So any help would be appreciated. Then the next book that I bought is A Man Called Ove / A Man Called Ove, I don't know how you pronounce it, by Frederick Bachman. I've had really good things about Frederick Bachman in general, but also about this book specifically. And if you guys saw my books on my wishlist video, this was like the first book on my wishlist and I finally got around to buying it. So this is about our main character, Ove, who is a very grumpy old man. Your typical grumpy old man who doesn't understand the way the world is moving, how the world's moving forward, the way people speak, the technology people use. He doesn't understand it, and it just follows his life. The blurb really doesn't give much away, but I'm assuming it's going to be very heartwarming. I feel like it's probably going to give me Up vibes, and I'm just really excited to see where this story goes. I haven't read anything from Frederick Bachman, but I would really love to read his work, so I'm really happy that I have this. I just want the weather to cool off, because I can't read this in the sunshine. I really need to read it on a cozy autumn night. So weather, please. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that you will already know that I purchased this book and that I've already read it and loved it, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I adore Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is my favourite author of all time. She hasn't put out a book that I haven't liked, and this was kind of the last of her popular novels that I had to read because I'd already read Evelyn Hugo and Malibu Rising. So I just had this one to go. And I was putting off picking up this book for ages because I wanted to read the audiobook. But I saw the book in Daunt Books and I just gave in and I bought it. And this was just a 5 stars. I wish I could give it more than 5 stars because it was just so good. But this is about a band called Daisy Jones and the Six, and they were extremely popular in the 70s, and when they are reaching the pinnacle, the height of their success, they have everything going for them. They've just released the record of the year, they're touring, everything seems to be going their way, and they break up and completely disappear from the music industry forever. And this book is told as an interview with all of the members of this band to get to the bottom of what happened and why they broke up. Just Taylor Jenkins Reid has such a special way of writing. This was not my favourite Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. It was probably my least favourite of the ones of hers that I've read, but that doesn't detract from the fact that it's an amazing book and I loved it. And Daisy Jones as a character is my favourite Taylor Jenkins Reid character. I just thought she was so complex and so fun. The next book that I'm going to show you is another book that was on my wish list for a really long time, so I'm really happy that I got around to buying it, and that is The City We Became by N.K. Jemison. Again, how can I be a fantasy reader and have not read anything by N.K. Jemison? That is shocking. This, I believe, is a standalone, and if it's not a standalone then the other books haven't come out yet, so it's less daunting. But this is about how every city in the world has a soul, and the bigger / better the city, the more souls it has. And this is about New York, and New York has 6 souls protecting it. And all 6 souls have to be called to battle because there's some kind of war, something going on in New York City, and they have to all be called together in order to save the city. I just think it sounds so unique, so incredible. Who even thinks of this as a concept? Also, the green sprayed edges are stunning. I'm very excited to get into it. I just consider fantasy an autumn and winter genre, and the world still wants to act like it's summer. So I came across this next book in a book recommendations video that someone did where they gave recommendations for books that felt the same way Gilmore Girls does. God, that's a mouthful. And I really, for the life of me, cannot remember who posted this video, but I found this next book in that video. So coming into an autumn book shopping trip, I knew that if I saw this book I would have to get it, but I wasn't expecting to see it because it's quite an unknown book that I've never seen anywhere, and then Daunt Books had one hidden at like the bottom shelf, and so I took that as a sign and I bought it. And that book is A Sky Painted Gold by Laura Wood. I mean, you can just tell that this book is gonna be cozy and wintry. Like, look at it. Now this was in a Gilmore Girls recommendations video, but the plot wise so far out. It's got nothing to do with Gilmore Girls at all. So this is like a Great Gatsby but make it Cornish. It's set in Cornwall in 1929, and you can tell by the cover that it's going to be quite Gatsby. So this is about our main character Lou, and she is swept up into this 1920s life of glitz and glamour, but she has to try and stay true to herself and not get completely caught up in the intrigue and secrets and the darker side of the glitz and glam lifestyle. As I said, I just had to take this as a sign. I have never seen this book anywhere in any bookstore in the UK ever, and it was on my wish list, and I'm really making a concerted effort to only buy books on my wish list at the moment. This was on my wish list. I saw it at the perfect time of year, and so I bought it. If you guys have been around long enough, then you will know that last September, October, November time, this book pretty much featured in every single recommendations video that I did. I was desperate to read it. Never got around to buying it though, and then again, as fate would have it, I was in Foyles, I saw it, and I figured now is the time, and that is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. So this is about our main character, Nobody Owens, or Bod for short, and he lives in a graveyard and talks to the little ghosties that live there. There are dangerous things lurking in this graveyard that act as threats. There are also incredibly dangerous things lurking in the human realm. I have absolutely no clue where this plot is gonna go. It feels dark, it feels cozy, it feels gripping. It's a perfect October read. I don't think you can get a better October read than The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I'm so excited about this. I've literally been wanting it for about a year. I'm so happy I finally bought it. I'm now realising how fantasy themed book haul was. I feel like I don't even know how to give it a good introduction, so I'm just going to show you. Is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is an incredibly popular series and I remember wanting to read it when everyone on BookTube was talking about it, like when it first came out. So I'm living my pre-teen dreams by buying myself this book and talking about it on BookTube. If you don't know what A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab is about, this is a trilogy about parallel universes and a main character who can travel between them. So there is Grey London, which is without magic and ruled by a mad King George III. And then there is Red London, where magic is revered, where our main character was raised. Then there is White London, where people are currently fighting to control magic. And then once a long time ago, there was Black London. So who knows what happened or what's going to happen here. I'm just really excited to delve into this series. I'm in the mood to just binge a fantasy series. So I'm probably going to start this and then buy the rest of the books in this series whilst I'm reading it, so I have them on hand. It's going to be a really enjoyable reading month if I enjoy this, and I really hope I do. I really want to love it. Let me know your thoughts on this down below, because I feel like I don't know if it's good or bad anymore. Like, what are the current thoughts on this book? And so then the final book that I bought was not on my wish list, was not a book I've ever heard of before, and was a complete cover buy, and that is Furyborn by Legrand. Look at this cover, it's stunning. It's also not just stunning in appearance, it's like that rubbery kind of cover, you know, it kind of like feels like rubber / velvet. I like picked it up and was like, yes, I'm immediately buying this. I love me a royal fantasy. Like any kind of fantasy set in a royal court. I mean, hello, Fate of the Tearling here. I love it so much. So the tagline for this book is, two young women, centuries apart, hold the power to either save their world or doom it. Honestly, this book sounds really complicated to explain. There is a woman in the past and a woman in the future, and the woman in the past accidentally reveals herself to be a queen of light and has to go through all of these trials in which if she fails she will die, and our character in the future goes on a quest to find her kidnapped mother. These two women are then having to fight a cosmic war that spans millennia. It sounds very complicated, but I have high hopes. I think it's going to be good, and I'm happy I bought it just for this cover, I can't lie. And so there we have it. Here are the 10 books that I bought with the intention of reading in October-November time. I'm so excited about all of these. I'm so excited for the weather to turn, to get to watch cozy vlogs and Gilmore Girls and be like reading with the rain in the background and a hot chocolate and a pumpkin spice latte. I'm pretty sure autumn is my favourite season. How basic of me, I know, right? But I'm excited to get cozy and enjoy all of these books. If you guys have read any of these books, or want to read any of these books, have heard of any of these books, do let me know down in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you did make it this far, why not hit that big red subscribe button down below? I'm sorry, I've got to do it. It's just part of the routine. There is no shortage of bookish content here on this channel. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday. So if you like bookish content and talking about books, then you might want to stick around. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and you enjoy everything that you are reading. And I hope that there are absolutely no reading slumps in your future. Enjoy your reading and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.